Now, some of the things we've done out at our hunt spot with food plots and plowing and using the cultivator, cultipacker they call them, and disking. I mean, there's a lot of machinery you need to make it easier, and then sometimes just a plain old sweating here, using the seed spreader here by hand, we'll get the seed out and broadcast it out.
Or you can put a hopper on the back of an ATV. You can put them on the back of a bad boy buggy or a mule. I mean, there's so many different types of things. Now, we talked about some of the different types. The best thing you're going to do is when you get into the blends. You've got things that are perennials. You've got things from many different brands that have a mixture of seeds.
Yeah, this shot plot, this has just a bunch of different elements in here, and again, it'll grow for you for spring or fall.
And some things are going to grow right now. Some things aren't going to grow until later.
Right.
You'll get more year-round usage out of something that has a premium blend mixed into it. And this one, again, when you look at it, you start planting this in spring, continue all the way through summer for the zone that we're in. So this will work. Again, not everything's going to germinate, not everything's going to grow with this, but you're going to get a high percentage of things that actually will. And once you test them, the first thing to do, or best thing to do, is test out a bunch of different products. Don't stick with one product. Find the one that works for you, in your area, in your climate, where you live. Use some of the smaller bags first. Whichever one grows best, the next year jump up to the bigger bag and do the whole food plot in that.
Sometimes it's just being lucky too, like putting a food plot in and then immediately having some Mother Nature rain hit you. It'll get it to germinate right away, and that'll get your food plots kicking off.
Right. Let's move on down the line a little bit more, Rob. Most of these things that we've talked about so far are things you have to really get in the ground, you really have to dig up, and you really have to prepare the soil in a bunch of different ways for it. There's also something called no plow. For a guy that doesn't have a farmer, if he doesn't have a cultivator, if he doesn't have an ATV with a disc he can pull behind it, he can go up here with his own rototiller. He can go out there really literally with rakes and a little bit of elbow grease, put the no plow out, put the throw and grows out, and they'll get some success. You're not going to get the big lush food plots like you see on TV, but they will have some good success. And again, with food plot materials, there's different minerals that are mixed in with these things. There's different types of seeds that provide different types of nutrients. Some for antler development, some for healthy coats, some for deer reproduction. There's many, many different things to take into consideration with this. Now, most of these things too, when you're looking at a food plot, it's going to last 3 to 5 years. And most of the food plots, something else people don't do, Rob. When it starts to grow, you want to mow it. You want to mow it down. You want to mow it a couple times a year. By mowing it, that's going to rejuvenate. The dead leaves are going to be gone. It's going to be rejuvenated with all the nutrients that are going to be coming out of the roots into the part that the deer is actually going to eat. And you want to make sure that you have something that the deer are going to be there in winter. There's some blends that already peak in summer. Some blends, when you get into winter, the food's all gone. So you want something that's going to be blooming in the winter as well. So that's why I personally like the different blends of food plot seed.
Well, and if you always have questions, there's definitely plenty of DVDs available. There's plenty of reading material you can pick up. You know, and like you said, if you don't have a farmer that you know personally that you can ask about farming, then go ahead and pick one of these up. Pick a DVD up or read.
Online
do a lot of
resources, have a lot of them, and all these companies have their websites listed on it, just like Takamani. They've got their website listed on it. If you've got a question, you can email Takamani and they'll tell you exactly what to do. They want you to use their product well because they want you to come back and buy it again.
Absolutely. So we got the seed in. Let's kick into the next segment.
That's the gist on seeds. Let's wrap up, Rob, and let's talk a little bit about the nutrients and some of the other odd things out there for food plots.
Sounds good.
This Outdoor Icon Show factoid is brought to you by First Metropolitan Mortgage. Stay tuned, the Outdoor Icon will be right back.
Okay, Rob, we talked about food plots that you plant. We've talked about mineral attractants. There's a couple other things we need to talk about they might be able to find at a store like Gander Mountain here.
Right.
That's essential for them to use if they're going to attract deer to their area. Fertilizer is a big thing. You want to make sure, we talked about earlier, when you do the pH test, you may need fertilizer, you may need lime. The basic most recommended one is the 10-10-10. That's got the potash, that's got the limestone, it's got the phosphate, and it has urea inside of it also. Yeah. And that's the big bulk of the things you'll need to really get that thing lush, to help with the growth, help for things to get higher and get the leaves a lot greener.
And that's going to kick off the germination, actually, of the seed as well, too. Right?
Absolutely. Yep. So you want to make sure you get you have enough fertilizer to do that.
On hand.
Some of the other odds and end little things you have. Here's one product they make that's a liquid calcium. This is going to help for antler development. It's going to help for bone growth, which is deer antlers are calcium.
Right.
So this is something you may want to add to some of your food plots. So as they're eating the forage, it's giving a little extra calcium, maybe give the rack a little bit more of a boost.
Things have gotten pretty scientific here with deer
They
hunting.
sure have. It isn't like old school hunting anymore where you just got in the black and red checkered suit and headed up north of Michigan. It's a whole big difference. Now you may want to get into some herbicides too. The worst thing is when you have a nice lush food plot and it gets all choked out with weeds.
Right.
That's just not good for a nice healthy food plot. Now, a hunter's not going to spend time like a farmer and go out there and really take care of it like your garden, Rob.
Well, you'll be surprised.
Well, but they try to, but the average guy's not going to.
Yeah.
So this is something that some people, maybe some of the advanced food plot sportsmen, may get into some of the herbicides. And there's different types of herbicides too that are on the market. This one here is for broadleaf weeds. This one here is for grass.
Right.
So the grass mixed in with your alfalfa, broadleaf maybe mixed in with your clovers. So you got to look into what you're getting to see what it is. Just a couple other little products.
And basically, that's how you got to approach your food plot. It's like a big extended garden that you got to maintain, and it's only going to grow as good as the attention
And
you
you
give
want it to peak at the right time. You want it to peak if you're going to be late winter hunting. You want it to peak then. If you're going to be hunting in the rut, you want it to peak during that time, based on what types of ingredients are in it.
Now, the folks that can't put food plots, don't have the luxury of maybe having a lot of land to work with. What are they going to do to maybe
Two
keep
products
deer
that
on
are
their
out
product?
there right now. This is kind of the hard way going. This is kind of old school still. They make a product called deer corn, or you can just get the seed or shelled corn at any of your ag lands or any really farmer's market. You'll be able to get that.
Yep,
Problem with this
stores.
right here, if you just distribute this out through the woods, every turkey in the woods is going to eat it. Every squirrel,
Raccoon.
every chipmunk, every raccoon, you're going to have a whole bunch of things eating your dollars that you put into it to attract deer.
Right.
So this is maybe something to put out a couple days before the hunt, something to put late winter. It's a great product. When all the plants and vegetation's already been eaten, then maybe late winter you go out and put some corn. There's also deer food. Deer feed's kind of like a dog chow type of a thing.
Yeah.
These are best used, the corn and the deer food, in some type of a controlled feeder. They make the different hopper type feeders that spin out at a certain time. They have a timer, and some of them are activated by the sunlight.
Battery
operated. They feed the animals every day. These are real big. You see in Texas and places like that where they can't get much vegetation to grow because of the heat. Again, you're going to deal with turkeys. You're going to deal with raccoons. Just part of the nature of the business, and these are pretty cost prohibitive. It's something where you want to attract them with a natural food plot. If you don't have the opportunity, you may want to go to the supplemental feeding.
Well, something else too, just farm hunting. Just look for soybeans, look for corn, look for the winter wheat fields, and that may help
Use the natural environment that the farmer's already planted. There's nothing like putting a tree stand up along the edge of a cornfield. And nothing like putting it up over the edge of a soybean field when that temperature hits just right, and all of a sudden the sugars and starches and everything just starts changing in the plant, and that's going to draw the deer in just as good as any food plot. But some great tips here, and we hope you have success in trying to attract deer to the property that you're going to hunt. We hope we helped you out on some of the different things you need to do. If you need more information, go to outdooricon.com or send an email to denny@outdooricon.com or rob@outdooricon.com, and we will be real happy to send you information and refer you to some of the places where you can go to get more information.